get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes left over for the pizza. All the boxes. My entrepreneurs, all my hustlers, do not think that you're the only one that's having a hard time, okay? I'm having a hard time at my level.
50 On has been taking shots at Diddy since the 90s, but he's on a whole new level. Now word on the street is that 50 has cracked the code behind those bizarre pizza box ramblings and plastic nonsense Diddy was spewing from jail, and trust me, it's not looking good for Mr. Bad Boy with a kind of T50 is about to spill. It's no wonder Diddy's legal team is running for the hills. His frustrated lawyer just quit. And let's be real, at this rate, Diddy's facing a future that looks more like orange jumpsuits than shiny. Suits, the drama is sizzling, the streets are buzzing, and no one's talking about it. But don't worry, we've got every juicy detail for you to devour. Sean Combs seems to be pulling every string imaginable to turn the tide of his mounting legal troubles, facing a tidal wave of allegations, including ST and witness tampering. The music mogul isn't just fighting to clear his name, he's allegedly resorting to desperate measures that are only digging him into a deeper hole, according to prosecutors. Diddy has been breaking prison rules left and right, using other inmates' phone accounts and three-way calls to reach out to potential witnesses in his case. And get this, he's been trying to persuade them to retract their statements. Yes, you read that right. He had the audacity to reach out to the victims in what appears to be an attempt to rewrite the narrative. But you see, this third-party calling isn't as surprising as you would think, because almost all celebs try to get their friends in jail to help them out of there. Well, that's the point, to get them out of there. But all Diddy is doing is making sure he stays inside for life.
Third-party calling has been done in probably 90% of the cases that I have. In fact, sometimes third-party calling to me.
Instead of helping his cause, Diddy's underhanded tactics have spectacularly backfired. Prosecutors now have even more incriminating evidence against him. Thanks to these alleged calls. To make matters worse, one of those phone calls has leaked online, and the internet has been in an absolute frenzy ever since social media is ablaze with speculation. And the story has become a feeding frenzy for every media outlet. If that wasn't enough, his brazen moves have only strengthened the prosecutor's case against him. Now they're armed with evidence of obstruction, adding even more weight to the pile of allegations he's already facing. It's a classic case of digging your own grave. And Diddy seems to be doing it with a shovel of his own, making what started as an attempt to flip the narrative has turned into a media firestorm, leaving his legal team scrambling and his reputation in tatters. The drama is heating up, and trust us, this is one story you don't want to miss. Diddy's reported tactics are raising serious red flags, and it doesn't stop there. A notebook seized from his jail cell allegedly contains information that prosecutors say points to obstruction of justice, while his defense team argues the notes are protected by attorney-client privilege. The court isn't buying it just yet.
If you're in custody, your phone calls can and will be recorded. Obviously, you and I, out as free people, we have rights that prevent that from happening. You need a warrant, you need a wiretap or something like that. You don't need that when you're...
Diddy's pulling moves so wild, it's almost hard to believe, except it's all unfolding right before our eyes. He's sitting in lockup with restrictions tighter than a drum, yet somehow he's been busy dialing out, dragging his own kids into his legal chaos. Those calls, not the heartwarming "how are you son" type. Nope, he's allegedly orchestrating a full-blown cleanup mission from behind bars, asking his sons to sweep up evidence and handle his dirty laundry. And here's the kicker, one of those calls leaked online, and the internet is losing it. The leaked audio has everyone raising eyebrows, because if his kids even think about touching evidence, they could be looking at obstruction charges themselves. Yes, Diddy might be desperate to gamble his way out of this mess, but he's doing it at the expense of his kids' future. It's reckless, selfish, and downright jaw-dropping.
Do not entertain none of this nonsense and nothing over the phone. I'ma need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes.
But wait, it gets worse. To mask his tracks, Diddy's camp is spinning a soap story for the mainstream media, painting him as a loving father on the verge of a mental breakdown, heartbroken over being separated from his kids. They've been feeding lines like this is their father to them. He's not Diddy, he's dad. And let's not forget the tearjerker. He's very concerned about his kids' being concerned about his kids. Oh, well, if this leaked audio is anything to go by, Diddy seems more worried about saving himself than safeguarding.
Everybody out there quiet as a motherfucker on him. Yeah, exactly. We gonna let them have their little fun, but I'm still gonna have the last laugh.
That doesn't exactly scream devoted dad, does it? In fact, it looks like Diddy's prioritizing his own survival over everything else, even if it means setting up his sons for legal trouble. It's a gamble that could ruin their futures, and for what a desperate shot at walking free meanwhile. The prison is treating him like any other detaining awaiting trial. Insiders have already spilled that Diddy's initial placement on self-harm watch was just a precautionary measure, standard procedure for someone of his public profile. No special treatment, no get-out-of-jail-free card, just the harsh reality of the situation he's created for himself. The bottom line, Diddy might think he's playing a smart game, but dragging his kids into this mess isn't just risky, it's downright cruel. And judging by the way things are unraveling, it's a gamble that's bound to backfire spectacularly. 50 Cent is out here proving that sometimes patience and persistence really do pay off. For years, he's been the one voice calling out Sean Diddy Combs, planting seeds of doubt, and letting time do its thing. Now, as Diddy faces some of the most serious allegations of his career, 50 is stepping into the spotlight, not just as a rapper, but as someone who's been warning the world all along. And let's be honest, 50 isn't just talking. He's orchestrating a masterclass in timing. He's been on the sidelines, watching Empire show cracks, and now he's working hand in hand with the flow of events to deliver what looks like a knockout blow to both Diddy and his career. In his recent conversation with People, 50 Cent didn't mince words. It seems like I'm doing some extremely outrageous things, but I haven't, he said, and he's right. He hasn't. All he's done is speak his truth, calling out Diddy's questionable behavior long before it hit the headlines. Now, as the news catches up with what he's been saying for years, it's clear that 50 Cent was always onto something. Look, it seems like I'm doing some extremely outrageous things, but I haven't. It's really me just saying what I've been saying for 10 years. Now it's becoming more full-facing in the news with the puffy stuff. But away from that, I'm like, yo, it's just my perspective, because I stay away from that stuff the entire time. This isn't just about a long-standing feud. It's about a man sticking to his instincts. 50's been steering clear of the kind of lifestyle that he embraced, one full of excess controversy. And as recent allegations suggest potentially illegal activities, his choice to separate himself was deliberate. This is not my style, he said. And it shows. While Diddy's facing trial, 50 is gearing up for his Indie Club Las Vegas residency, thriving and unbothered. Let's not forget how far back this rivalry goes, from the 2006 diss track The Bomb, where 50 accused Diddy of the involvement in the murder of the notorious Big, to their vodka brand battles. These two have been at each other's throat for decades, but now it's not just about music or business. It's about legacy, and 50 is out here making sure Diddy's alleged actions don't get swept under the rug. The irony, while Diddy's team scrambles to do damage control, 50's career is hitting new heights. It's almost as if nature itself is aligning to give 50 Cent the last laugh. And with his signature mix of humor and cutting commentary, you can bet he'll make the most of it. Diddy's empire might have been built on fame and fortune, but 50 is proving that truth and little patience always finds its way to the surface. The ever-growing pile of lawsuits against Combs is doing him no favors, not in court, nor in the court of public opinion, with over 20 lawsuits already filed, and allegations ranging from SAW to de-fueled exploitation. The rap mogul's once glittering empire is crumbling under the weight of these claims. Each new case adds another layer of damning testimony, making it harder for his legal team to argue against the overwhelming pattern of alleged predatory behavior. Legal experts agree that the consistency and similarity of these stories across decades create an almost insurmountable challenge for Diddy's defense. It's no longer a question of isolated incidents or misunderstandings. Instead, it paints a clear, picture of systemic and a calculated use of power, wealth, and influence to prey on vulnerable individuals.
There's really no deal that the U.S. Attorney's Office can offer, and it's certainly not one that Diddy will accept. It would involve decades in federal prison. We're talking about mandatory minimum sentences of 10 years for both the drug charges and the
Even with Diddy's attorney repeatedly denying the allegations, their statements are starting to sound hollow as the evidence mounts. High-profile figures like R. Kelly, Jeffrey Epstein, and Bill Cosby have shown that when a floodgate of victim opens, it's nearly impossible for the accused to recover their reputation. Let alone evade legal consequences. The allegations don't stop at the criminal charges. Reports of freak-offs where did he allegedly deed women to keep them compliant, and his disturbing obsession with filming these encounters have drawn parallels to some of the most notorious predators in recent history. Attorney Tony Busby's revelation that he represents over 120 men and women alleging violent SA only adds fuel to the fire. It's a staggering number that underscores the breadth of Cole's alleged actions and the far-reaching consequences for his legacy.
You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data.
Diddy's prior settlements in cases and high-profile incidents, like the leaked surveillance footage of him and Cassie, further undermine his claims of innocence. As legal battles rage on, many believe it's only a matter of time before state prosecutors step in with additional criminal charges with every new allegation. Diddy's chances of turning the tide dwindle further. Public sentiment is also shifting dramatically. Once celebrated as a music and business icon, Diddy is now being scrutinized as the poster child for abuse of power in the entertainment industry. His arrest in September was the tipping point, but the snowball effect of lawsuits and witness testimonies could bury him entirely as the case unfolds. It's clear that the sheer number of accusations is more than just a PR nightmare. It's a legal disaster waiting to happen, whether through the civil courts or the criminal justice system. The reckoning.
And reality has hit him, and I understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble.
For someone in Diddy's position already facing serious federal charges, including ST and racketeering, this breach of protocol is a glaring misstep. It not only undermines his credibility, but also raises questions about what exactly he was trying to accomplish with these unauthorized calls. Was it just a desperate attempt to stay connected with his team and family? Or were there ulterior motives tied to his ongoing legal battles? The policy states an inmate may not possess another inmate's telephone access code number. An inmate may not give his or her telephone access code number to another inmate, and is to report a compromised telephone access code number immediately to unit staff. While Shapiro claims this practice is common at NBC, it doesn't change the fact that prosecutors have solid evidence linking Diddy's phone misuse to attempts at influencing witnesses and manipulating public opinion. This is what Shapiro said in his client's defense. The use of other inmates' PAC numbers is also a widespread practice at the NBC and not obstruction. Shapiro wrote in the filing to Judge Aaron Submarinian, inmates routinely share their calling minutes with other inmates, and they are limited to 15 minutes per call and 1 call per hour. The government has presented no evidence suggesting anything Mr. Combs says using others' numbers is any different than what he says while using his individual PAC number. If anything, that Mr. Combs needs to resort to sharing minutes demonstrates that the conditions at MDC do not permit an adequate defense preparation, although this is technically not permitted by BOP policy. The BOP effectively sanctions the practice, and all calls are monitored with the prosecution armed with such undeniable proof. It's no surprise Diddy's legal team chose to concede this particular violation rather than risk further damage to his already crumbling defense.
Diddy's lawyers say the feds raided his jail cell and seized a bunch of privileged material. So an interesting one, to say the least, about this.
To be honest, Diddy's panic attempts are more than telling about what he is facing behind bars. Let's not forget his legal counsel also released a statement saying in terms of fighting their case, it makes it all the more difficult because now in terms of you being able to communicate with your attorney, you are at the mercy of what's going on with respect to the facility. Is it on lockdown? Is the facility letting visitors in? And we're going to fight this case.
And we're going to fight this case with everything we have, as is he. And eventually he's going to be shown to be innocent. And so tomorrow we fight again. And we'll fight every day until we don't.
So yeah, Diddy has it tough nowadays. In addition to all that, the 50 Cent docuseries everyone has been buzzing about finally found its home at Netflix, just as Sean Cole's relentless attempts to secure bail continue to be shot down in court. This timing couldn't be more ironic or damning while Netflix is preparing to shed light on the dark allegations surrounding Diddy. The embattled music mogul remains stuck in federal custody, grappling with an ever-growing pile of accusations and lawsuits. Curtis Jackson, never to shy away from controversy, has been hyping up this project for months, dropping cryptic teasers and pulling back the curtain on Diddy's alleged freak-offs and decades of misconduct, from posting a jaw-dropping clip of Mark Curry exposing Diddy's alleged habit of spiking drinks at parties to using Rick Ross's chilling lyrics as a backdrop. 50 has made it clear that this series isn't about mincing words or pulling punches. The Netflix bidding war for his docu-series highlights just how explosive this story has become, with Gannett Film and Television steering the series promises to be a deep dive into not only the lawsuits against Diddy, but also the culture of abuse and exploitation alleged by multiple women over the years. Jackson even joked about adding more episodes if the stream of allegations keeps growing, a grim testament to the sheer magnitude of claims that have surfaced. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal battles aren't letting up, with bail repeatedly denied and his jail violations only worsening his chances. It seems his attempts to escape custody are as futile as his attempts to escape the court of public opinion. Each new lawsuit, like the one filed by a former model Aling Ding in 2003, further solidifies the narrative Netflix is about to present to the world for Diddy. The timing of this docu-series is nothing short of disastrous, as 50 Cent and Netflix prepare to put his darkest secrets on full display. He's left trying to clear his name, while shackled by a flood of incriminating allegations. Whether he's guilty or not, one thing is certain: this is a battle Diddy can't simply dance his way out of. At one occasion, 50Y commented, "This is why they put that tape out. They know they can't charge him with what we saw, but they know we can't unsee what we saw." As for the docu-series, if the buzz is anything to go by, it's shaping up to be a cultural earthquake. Netflix has landed what could be the expose of the year, and with 50 Cent at the helm, you know it's going to be raw, unfiltered, and unapologetically brutal. That's all for today. We hope you liked that video, and if you did, please like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos like this.